Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Welcome, everyone. Can you hear me in the back? So I invite you first just to take a breath, a conscious breath. Doesn't need to be a forced breath. You just need to know you're breathing. If you're not sure, bring your attention to the breath as it comes into the nose and use the attention to follow the breath all the way to the bottom, to the belly or the pelvis. And then let it go. And the reason that I ask you to do this is so that you are aware that you are here. Sometimes when we sit for a long period of time in silence, we go into a kind of blankness or torpor or sleepiness, or we just begin to space out in some way. So this quick check-in reminds us that we are here. I am here. Many times I get the question, why is it that when I ask the question, who am I? Nothing happens. Or my mind just skitters away, goes into some fantasy, some memory, some projection, some making a list for tomorrow. It won't stay put. This happens primarily because before you ask the question, who am I? There isn't a rooting or a stabilizing in this recognition, I am, or this recognition of here, nowness. If you simply ask the question, who am I, starting with the mind, and the last thing that happened was you caught yourself in a fantasy or in a memory, there's a good possibility that you'll stay in the mind. But if you take this breath, this conscious breath, you come back into the full presence of the body, full awareness of here and now. Then when you ask the question, who am I? Who is breathing? Who is noticing? Who is aware? When you ask this inquiry, you will already be here and you will be now. When this happens, this is like tethering a wild horse to a post. If you try to hold on to an untrained and undisciplined wild horse, We talk about these things. I come from New Mexico, so we talk about these things. What you see is that you cannot contain this horse. You are not strong enough. You don't have enough of a foundation. It outweighs you, and it is stronger than you are. The mind is very much like this when it's undisciplined. You may have noticed, huh? So when we come in a moment of inquiry, before a moment of inquiry, and we focus on this one breath, inhaling all the way down to the pelvis and exhaling gently, we bring ourselves into this moment. And this is like taking the rope of that wild horse, the mind, and tying it to a post. The horse will buck for a while, but eventually it will settle. It will realize it's not going anywhere. It has to stay there. The mind is like this also. So this is very useful coming into the inquiry, because the mind doesn't simply fall away into its own storyline. So I recommend to you that you first come into the presence which you are. So what is presence? If I say come into presence in this moment, do you know what I'm talking about? Do you have this experience of presence? Not of present moment, not of being here now in the moment, but of presence, which has no object. Do you have this experience or not? Somewhat. Okay. Well, for those of you who don't, let's talk about presence a little bit. When I speak about presence, what I mean is really these three characteristics. Presence is there is awareness here. So first, in order to establish presence, we can ask the question, am I aware? What is aware? Asking yourself this question right now, is there anyone who says, no, I am not aware? Or do you know intuitively, I am here, I am aware. Awareness is here. You know this intuitively. So this is one characteristic of presence. Is this awareness? That awareness is aware. Another characteristic of presence is an alertness. Now, being alert, you can certainly say in the mind, you can ask yourself, am I alert? If you want to. But experience shows that if you ask the question, am I aware? What immediately follows is the alertness that comes from looking, from observing, from witnessing. Yes, awareness is here now. This brings an alertness. What I mean by alertness is a lightness or a light to the mind, a brilliance, right? This is the opposite of sleepiness, of torpor. So there's a recognition that which is aware is here now. And in this recognition, there is an alert quality or light quality, which is seen in the mind. The third characteristic of presence is a recognition of emptiness. Or no thingness. Most of us when we come to this question, am I aware? And the answer comes quietly, yes. In the early days of inquiry and practice, We know we are aware, not because we are simply aware of the space in which this awareness is rising or resting. We know we are aware because of an object which is before awareness. And so we know I am aware because I see you. I am aware because I hear this sound. I am aware because I feel the breeze from the fans. So we are using the senses and the objects of the senses, or the mind and the thoughts in the mind, to know that we exist. What we don't realize maybe at that moment is that we exist when nothing is here. Bhagavan pointed this out by saying, when you wake up in the morning and you've slept deeply, you know immediately, I slept well. How do you know that? Was thought present? No. Was awareness even present? No. Sensation wasn't present. You weren't aware of sleeping. You didn't feel your body on the bed. And yet somehow, if you are asked, did you sleep well? Immediately, you know yes. This is the same yes that comes immediately if I ask you, are you aware? Yes, you know it. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to search. You don't have to establish some quality to know I am aware. You simply know it. It comes even before the thought, even before the yes. The answer is the same. If you wake up in the morning and someone asks you, did you sleep well? You say yes. Well, how did you know that? You weren't even there. This is the proof that Bhagavan points to, that this awareness which you are transcends the three times and the three states, past, present, and future, waking, dreaming, and sleeping. This awareness is cognizant, not in the way of awareness, of course, in the waking state, but cognizant of itself at all times and under all circumstances. So we come back to this idea of presence being this recognition that awareness is here, awareness is aware of itself. In that awareness, there is an alert or light quality, an energetic quality of being here, which this is what we experience in the waking state, isn't it? I am here, I am now. This is alertness. And there's a recognition that this alertness and this awareness are not dependent upon there being an object on which I'm focused. I don't need to be focused on my breath. I don't need to be focused on my mantra. I can be pleasurable, enjoyable, calming. I don't need to be focused, even on this question, who am I, using it like a mantra. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Until it loses its potency and just becomes a repetition. If we recognize the basic equality of everything that comes into this space of awareness now in this moment, we have no attachment to any of it. We know whether it's pleasurable or it's unpleasant or it's neutral. It has nothing to do with the recognition of being consciousness in this moment. Therefore, we can let all the phenomenon, all the objects which come and go in awareness, go. This is the foundation of the third aspect of presence, which is emptiness. It's not the recognition of no thing. It's the recognition that nothing or no thing that comes through awareness, comes into consciousness at this moment, comes into our field of attention, has a lasting quality. It is coming staying for a period of time and going. When we realize this, we lose the tendency to want to attach to whatever is here in thought, in emotion, in world, in experience, just for this period of time when we are involved directly in the inquiry. Of course, we'll have to pick those things up later as they move in and out of awareness throughout the day. But for the period of time when we're sitting here, when we're together, when you're at home, and you're sitting quietly in your own space, you can just let whatever comes come. Let it go when it wants to go. Let it stay as long as it wants to stay. And in doing this, there is this quality which rises, which is aware, alert, and not attached to anything which rises in the space of awareness. This is emptiness. Realizing that all phenomenon are coming and going. Therefore, this one who sits here, aware and alert, does not need to be interested in anything that rises in this space. Then what comes is this recognition of this presence which you are, which is free of all your concern, all your consideration, and is simply here as that which you already are, aware space. This is your nature. But this space, while containing no thing of any substantial basis, is free, meaning it doesn't need you to decide anything about it, does not need your opinions. You don't have to make a decision about it. You must be it. The inquiry leads us to this moment where we can become conversant with our own silence. And in this silence of being, we can allow what comes to come. We can allow what stays for a while to stay for a while. And then we can allow it to go as is its natural tendency. The whole time, we remain as this still, silent awareness, watching, observing, not engaging. And we begin to feel this presence of being, consciousness, open and expand in the heart. And if we feel it begin to close down again, we get distracted by thought, we get distracted by a memory, we get distracted by an experience. We simply come back. Who was distracted? Who is thinking this thought? Well, I am. But who are you referring to? Who or what is being referred to when you say I? Once you have this presence, which you are, firmly established, it becomes very, very easy to have this always be the place where you are resting. And you can always be asking yourself, if you need to, who am I? And then allowing the silence of your own being, which follows this question, to dissolve this I-ness, this me-ness, and this my-ness. So that the truth of your nature shines forth so that this self which you are is visible to you, intuitively known by you, and seen in the eyes of everyone that you meet. If you establish yourself in this way, as this felt presence of I am, your inquiry, to whom am I referring, will progress very, very quickly. And you'll quickly see I am no thing, and yet somehow I am all of this. Not I as an ego, but this I, which rises in awareness as this felt, intuitive understanding I am. And I exist in this fullness of being. This is your nature. Hari Om Tat Sat. So somewhere around there is a microphone. There it is. If you'd like to speak with me, or you have a question.
I don't really have a question, although it might come.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to share that 2 days ago I came to see you for the first time, and I was very, very touched.
Mm-hmm.
And after my heart was crying, but of joy.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt a bit shy to be crying in front of everybody, so I went to walk a little bit in nature, to let the tears and the joy come. And at this moment, a beautiful young horse just ran in front of me, like with freedom and joy and power. And because
Yes.
you were talking of horse again.
Yes, and the horse was here this morning. Did you hear it?
Exactly.
It was here this morning, yes.
And that's why I felt I had to.
Yes,
to share that.
It came again for you.
It came again
Yes.
for me. So, thank you.
Yes, thank you for sharing. Beautiful. Yes, yes. This beautiful synchronicity, huh? When we are here now, we are in the moment, and we are resting in the heart of being. Then life unfolds in these beautiful and synchronistic ways. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Back to the back. Send the mic back that way.
Hello. I have kind of practical question. I hope so. The state of presence, if I see it, is almost final point of spirituality. And the problem is that for especially unexperienced seeker, it is very difficult to reach this state, even to get glimpse of it. And the main obstacle is our personality, our ego. Even Ramana Maharshi talks about ego a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And in main big systems like yoga, like Zen Buddhism, like whatever, this part of working with personal attachments, with personal identification, it's a big part of every big system, actually. And it's clear why, because actually our conditionings is a main screen which doesn't allow us to see real reality, let's say. And how it works, as I base on my own experience, how it works, I try to enter the state of presence, I get there, but I cannot stay there because of my usual center of perception is located in my personality. And my personality is extremely strong, not mine, but human personality. And it pulls me back. Therefore, I go there, it pulls me back. I go there, and it pulls me back.
And what is the problem with this?
The problem is that it's not very effective way, maybe more effective way to work directly with personality. We have brilliant tool which is called intellect.
Is there any end to personality?
Yes, of course.
Mm.
Of course, personality is great. Very big.
How are you going to get there if you support it? If you make it into an object which you have to work with, which you have to heal, which you have to fix, which you have to get rid of?
The idea not to change it, but to get rid of it. To understand that it's burden. We don't need it.
But you see, I'm hearing that you already understand that you don't need it, and you still are saying, I cannot get rid of it.
Say it again.
You already understand intellectually, conceptually, that you don't need it and that you need to get rid of it.
Yes.
So is it also true then that you are blocking, holding on to it through this belief that you somehow have to work with it in order to get rid of it?
As I see it, the understanding is tool by itself. When I understand, when I see the problem, I can solve it. If I don't see the problem, I cannot solve it.
So the answer then is don't see the problem.
No, answer is see the problem.
No, answer is don't see the problem.
How come? If you don't see the problem, you're helpless.
Okay, so the answer is see the problem and do nothing about it.
No. Do it.
Comes to the same.
Sorry, I don't understand what you say.
So, so listen to what you are saying, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Listen to what you are saying. You are saying, I cannot feel this sense of liberation and freedom unless I understand with the mind how this works. So I have to go through some long process, through some investigation, through some process to so the mind can understand what it means to be free, what it means to be liberated from this personality. This is what I hear you saying.
Actually, I say that personality is main obstacle and source of suffering. Therefore, if I understand what is personality, if I understand that I am not personality, then I can do something about it.
I understand that.
Get rid of it.
And I understand that. So it's very clear that what you believe to be true is that if you want to climb to the top of the mountain, what you need to do is start down here and go this way. around the bottom of the mountain, looking at all the trees and plants and animals, and then coming around again, going up a few more feet, coming around again, looking at all the plants and animals, coming around again, looking at the birds, around and around and around, until the mind understands something.
No, I just state that who am I method, you call it, he calls it, direct method.
Yes.
It's not that direct. It's exactly what you describe. You go around and around and around. Because working with personality with ruins this identification with personality. Could be a great help. It speeds up the process very much.
If that works for you, then I'm very, very happy for you. That has not been the experience of many, many people. And this is why Bhagavan said, it's not necessary to go deeply into what the characteristics of the personality are and how they work and how they function and how they are understood. I believe it was Nisargadatta who said, when you get ready to throw out the trash, you don't need to look through it. And Bhagavan...
It's actually Nisargadatta's guru who said that.
Yeah. Maharaj Ji said that. He said that. And so this Bhagavan also pointed toward this, the same tendency in us to want to look through the trash rather than just throw it out. And this is why he recommended that whatever comes up in body, mind, or world, past, present, or future, or personality as you're describing it, whatever comes up in mind, one can simply acknowledge that it's there by saying, I am not that. I am not that. One doesn't need to go into it. The mind might need it. The mind might say, I benefit from understanding. But that doesn't make it necessary. That may be another trait of personality. So I encourage you to do that if it works for you. But I also want people to understand that the direct understanding is that it can be also quite quick to say, that is not me. That is not who I am. I am not that. Not that. Not that. Whatever comes up in body, mind, or world, I am not that. Not as an aspect of denial, not saying I deny my own existence, but rather to say I see what the mind, what the personality is trying to do, and I am not that. So then the question naturally arises, who is thinking this thought? Who is needing to understand? Who is meditating? And so on. And can quite naturally settle deeply into this question, who am I?
I am almost agree, but not really.
Okay.
Because last
You don't need to agree. You can just look. All I'm asking you to do, I'm not asking anyone to agree with me.
Okay.
I'm only asking that people look into their own experience and see what is true for them.
But the process you describe now,
Yeah.
This is not me, that is what personality does, I'm not my personality. It requires already to be in a state of presence or a very deep alertness, which is not possible for a regular seeker.
I don't agree with that. And the reason I don't is I want to ask you this question right now. Are you aware?
I'm aware. I am aware.
Of course you are, and you know that immediately.
Yeah.
So it is not far away, this awareness or recognition is not far away unless you push it far away and say, in order for me to be aware, I have to go through this long process. I have to know this, I have to know that, I have to understand this, I have to do this technique and that method and that kind of meditation. Then it can feel far away. But if I ask you, are you aware? Immediately, you know I am aware. So my recommendation is cut all of those steps out throughout your day so that you are always asking yourself, noticing that that which is aware is here now. If you notice that you are aware under all circumstances, all states of mind, all conditions of the body, and all experiences in the world, if you know you are here and you know you are now, you are on the direct path.
You don't listen to me. What you say is absolutely clear. It's absolutely right. But I'm talking about different things, that I cannot be in this question, I am aware all the time, because my personality pulls me up, down all the time, down, back. And as you say today, people find themselves in turmoil of thoughts and emotions and blah, 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 and far away from meditation and from the question, who am I and am I aware? That's a problem. And
But the simplest solution, the simplest solution is not to admit the problem and put the problem out like it is a monolithic thing it's like a big chunk of rock that has to be slowly chipped away. I am suggesting a much easier way, which is to remember, I am aware. That's it. Under all of those circumstances, and see what happens. Because I agree with you, to stay in this presence of awareness at all times, under all circumstances. It's not your immediate experience right now. I agree with that. However, in order for it to become your immediate experience, you must return through this simple remembrance. I am aware. That which is aware is here now. And if you do that, what happens is all of these other concerns slowly begin to dissolve. They begin to fade away. And this presence, which I'm referring to as awareness, becomes more stable and stronger. And it remains for longer periods of time. So the key is not a process. The key is consistency and persistence, not in a process, but in the simple remembrance. That which is aware is here now, and I am that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I? Hello, sir. So many people are conducting satsangs these days, and the legitimate truth, which can only be expressed through silence. Silence. How many have you met in your whole lifetime?
Silence is one, not many.
Yeah. Yes.
Silence is everywhere,
Yes.
not somewhere.
No, you're not answering my question directly.
You are asking a question
Yes.
about many.
Really?
There is.
Really?
You said how many?
Oh. Oh. Okay.
There is
That's
not.
cool. That's cool.
There is not many.
No. There are so many illegitimate so-called gurus.
Why do you make this your business?
No.
If you know who you are,
My point is not that.
if you know who you are,
Huh?
if you understand the silence which you are asking about,
Okay.
it is
Then
not.
you better keep quiet.
It's not of any concern.
Yeah.
What does it matter if your mind says this one is legitimate and that one isn't?
No, not really. I mean,
Wait.
I didn't come here for satsang.
No, your silence.
All right. All right.
Your silence you cannot be seen, it cannot be experienced, it cannot be felt while the mind is involved in this kind of conversation.
All right.
Okay?
All right, sir.
So I suggest to you that you ask this question, who or what am I? And am I aware? Until you have no other questions.
All right.
You can spend many lifetimes.
What if I'm already what if I recognize that I'm already aware in full presence?
Yes.
Should I do something else also?
Keep quiet.
Thank you. Pass it over.
Hi. Hi. Thank you for the soft space that you offer, allowing all the density to come up. I have been doing neti for 7 years, more or less, very intensely. Just observing the beliefs, the conditioning, letting go. And 2 weeks ago, I've been the first time to your satsang, and someone asked you a question about his own fascination with the ego. And I don't remember your exact words, but it was something around just stop being fascinated by your ego.
Lose interest in it.
Yeah. And that landed like a soft bomb in my system. And I started questioning my whole path. And the whole way that I help people and everything, basically. My whole identity around dissecting my ego. And so I've been trying to meditate differently for the past 2 weeks and really waiting to ask this question. And every satsang I'm like, no, this is not the time yet. You still need to sit with it.
Okay.
But basically, my question is around, because today you said something about be aware of the thing coming up, let it be as long as it needs to be, and then let it go. And this is kind of what I do.
Yes.
But I am with that thing the whole time that is there, with that energy that is moving, with that pain or with that belief until it leaves. And what I've been trying lately was to lose the interest in the fact that it's there and just go into...
While still being present with it.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm pointing at?
So I'll tell you what I've been doing, and then you tell me if I'm totally off.
Okay.
I become aware of the canvas that is underneath the painting.
Okay.
And my concern is that I'm bypassing.
Yes, this comes up.
Yeah. That I'm just like, oh, don't look at that pile of shit. Just, yeah.
Thus my question to you.
Say again?
This last question that I just asked you.
Can you ask again, please?
While it is there, are you present with it? While remaining simply aware of it? Or are you identifying with it while it's there? Whatever this experience or object or emotion is.
I am aware.
You are aware.
Yeah.
Are you identified with it as who you are, or are you simply aware of observing that it is there, allowing it, acknowledging it, not pushing it away?
Second option.
Second option. Then how can you be saying that this is a bypass? You are fully standing in the middle of the experience at that moment, while at the same time acknowledging the illusory quality of it. If you don't identify with it, you can see that it is flowing. It's illusory.
Okay. It just feels so much better to connect to the canvas that
Oh,
it
yes.
feels like I'm bypassing. I'm like, I'm not in the pain.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But I understand at that moment you are both. You are both the canvas and the painting. This might be beneficial for you.
Okay. Thank you.
By knowing that you are the canvas, the painting becomes obviously an addition to the canvas. Part of the canvas, but not the canvas itself. Okay?
Okay.
That becomes true. The idea is not to stop painting. The idea is not to stop dancing. You cannot do it anyway. Life is always going to have its way. Whatever brought you here, and by that I mean into existence, not necessarily here into Tiruvannamalai, whatever brought you into existence has a certain life of its own, you can say. This is referred to in Vedanta as parabdha karma. So there's a certain karma, you can say, a certain activity that necessarily works itself out through the experience of the body-mind, awakening to the fact that you are the canvas, or the movie screen, as Bhagavan used to say. Awakening to this fact doesn't change the movie that goes across the screen and doesn't change the nature of the painting. That which has to be will have to be. What changes is the relationship that I have to the movie or the dance. Rather than being swept away by the river on the screen or the fire on the screen or the beauty on this canvas, rather than being swept away by those, there's a recognition that they are my very own, rising in order that I might understand that I am the screen, I am the canvas on which all of this is appearing. This is why, I think I said the other day, it's also been said that I am nothing and I am everything. Between these two, I walk. Same. Canvas and painting, both.
We've been talking a lot about ego, personality, and I'm struggling to understand how to refer to the body, because I can understand that I am not the body, but at the same time, it is very tangible.
Yes, it's experienced, isn't it? Mm. We're not denying the experience. We're denying that that which we experience is the reality or the fullness of our nature. And we're not really denying that even. We're simply saying,
But what is hard to understand for me
yeah,
is, for example, like Bhagavan, he was, how to say, at some points he was not like even noticing his body. So the body concept, let's call it concept,
yes.
it's very puzzling for me.
Mm-hmm.
If you could somehow make it more clear.
Maybe it would be helpful for you to recognize that you both have a body, and that is not the limit of who you are. Typically, what we do before this recognition is everything that goes on in the body, pleasure, pain, neutral, experience, sensation of every sort, sight, touch, taste, smell, thinking, everything that goes on in the body, we say, that is what I am. I am this body, right? This simple shift in perception that says, I have a body, but I am not the body. What does this mean? Now you can begin this inquiry. It's an entry point. What does it mean to not be the body? If you are completely and totally separated, spaced out from your body, it means that you don't have pain. Bhagavan also demonstrated that this was not true. He had great pain throughout the last part of his life, but he simply was not reactive to it. So this is the full realization of the understanding. One has a body with all that entails, right? Old age, sickness, and death, and not being bound by it. This knowledge that that which I am is the screen on which this movie, even of the body, is playing out. So this was the purpose of the inquiry, of asking the question, then who am I? If I am not this body, then who am I? Because I feel this I so strongly. Remember, in his death experience, this was what he realized. This body is gone. They will take it to the charnel ground, it will be burnt. And yet, this I, this presence is so strong. So he demonstrated and then taught that there is this recognition of I-ness, right? Which is not me-ness. This is not related to the body experience. And then he further explained that the prarabdha karma of the body goes on even after the sage awakens to the truth of being. I am not the body. But the experience of the body related to the prarabdha karma, that which brought the body into existence for this purpose of self-realization, will still go on. And then one, however, is not concerned so much with what the body is doing. The body is doing what it's doing, but there's an underlying gratitude that one is finishing the karma, the prarabdha karma, which brought this body into existence. So there's a gladness. One sees the service that the body is rendering and fully realizes, but I am not that. So just shift your perception just a little bit. I have a body, but who am I? Who is this I that I feel so strongly and at the moment associate with the body? Bhagavan's teaching is, you are not the body. Then who are you? Take the shortest route.